Today we're going to be making a Decoden phone case entirely from things bought at the dollar store. So here we have some beads, some rhinestones, a few children's toys, some little hair clips, and even some holiday decorations that are going to be part of our phone case. We also have a cake decorator, which can be found in the kitchen section, obviously. Some silicone, which they had at the dollar store. I was surprised by that. Our phone case base, so these just get whichever one matches your phone if it's available. And some sandpaper, which I already had handy, so I just had the one I had. Our next step is going to be taking apart some of these decorations. A few of them will come apart easy, a few of them may cause a little bit more trouble, but mostly it's going to be pretty smooth going unless you have something hard, which I find applying a little bit of heat is going to help snap it right up. Super simple. Just make sure that you stay safe doing this because it is pretty easy to burn your fingers. Okay, now we have all of our pieces taken apart or cut up and ready to go. Okay, now we're going to prep a few of the things we're going to need to do our decorating. So we're going to take out our piping bag. We're going to select which tip we want. I usually go with a larger one because it's going to be easier in the long run. And then you want to tape up around any edges or open spaces where the silicone could fall out. This takes a minute, but it's definitely worth it because if you don't do this and it leaks, it's a pain. Next, you're going to want to sand the phone down so the silicone has something to cling onto in a rough surface. And now we're ready to put it all together. So the first step here is going to be formulating a bit of a plan, figuring out how you want to lay out, and getting everything organized. Once you've done that, you're ready to go, and you can just start piping onto the phone case. Now, if you've ever piped cookies, it's pretty much exactly the same thing. But if you haven't, then practice a little bit on like a spare piece of plastic or paper beforehand so you can get a feel for how you want it to look. Also, make sure you don't cover up the hole. This is important. So just start piping slowly right along the phone. And you're just going to keep repeating this, making sure there's no big open gaps or anything until your whole phone is covered. Now you are ready to start the fun part, which is laying out all of the pieces into the silicone. Now, one thing that I would note is to wear gloves if you have never worked with silicone before, because I do know a few people who are allergic to it. So just keep that as a precaution. I've worked with silicone a lot, so I know that I'm good. So you're just going to slowly and carefully place everything because you don't want to mess up the cute little curls that are around the corners. Now, this can take anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 minutes. It just kind of depends on how much pre-planning you did. If you've never done this before, I definitely recommend laying everything out before. I tend to be a little bit more free-spirited with it, so I just went to town. I sped this up, obviously, because it did take me about 10 minutes to do this phone case. So you want to make sure that you don't go too slow or else it will start to set. You can still push things into it, but it's going to be a little bit messier looking when you're finished. So just lay things out, figure out a plan, and before you know it, you're going to have everything together. Adding beads, adding decorations. Just make sure that you don't have any large white open spots left because that doesn't really fit with the aesthetic we're going for. Once you have everything in place, just set it aside to dry and then you will have a lovely custom phone case. Now my piece takes about 2 to 3 days to dry because the silicone is laid on pretty heavy and you want to make sure that everything's set well before you put it on your phone and start to use it. But once that time period's done, you can look as kawaii as humanly possible while out and about. Thanks for watching, y'all.